Incredible moment exposed. Billionaire discovers heartwarming joy as Black waitress feeds disabled brother. Mia stood behind the counter of Mama Lou's diner, expertly balancing plates of golden fries and sizzling burgers, her infectious laugh echoing through the bustling establishment. The warm aroma of freshly baked pie wafted around her, mingling with the chatter of regulars and the clatter of silverware. At just 27 years old, she traded late nights out for double shifts, working tirelessly to support herself and her younger brother Jamal. He was sitting in a booth, his bright smile lighting up the room, a slice of chocolate pie held between his tiny fingers. The two of them found simple joys in their small cozy apartment filled with laughter and homemade meals, but they had to navigate a world that often felt against them. Then in a twist of fate, the door swung open, and in walked Ethan, a billionaire with a polished exterior but a heart weighed down by burdens. He was seeking a respite from the frenzied corporate life that consumed him. The diner was a stark contrast to his upscale world, its walls adorned with vibrant murals and filled with the rich tapestry of community. He took a seat at a nearby table, his eyes drawn to Mia and Jamal. Their laughter sliced through the air, reminding him of warmer days filled with innocence and joy. "Hey Jamal, did you save room for pie?" Mia teased, her voice bright as she leaned down to ruffle his hair. Jamal giggled, his laughter contagious, a beautiful reminder of defiance against life's hardships. The warmth between them ignited something deep within Ethan, and suddenly, he found himself smiling, something he hadn't done in ages. As they began to talk, Mia's light-hearted banter chipped away at Ethan's icy exterior, drawing laughter from the depths of his soul. For the first time in years he felt a flicker of connection, not just with Mia, but with the heartbeat of life itself. However, the reality of their divided worlds loomed large when a nearby diner overheard him casually discussing his connections in high places. Whispers erupted around the diner, pouring an icy tension into the once warm atmosphere. Mia's heart sank. She could feel the unspoken scrutiny piercing through the mirth like a cold wind. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The laughter faded, leaving Mia alone with the rising tide of unease. They stood on the precipice of a profound turning point. The truth of each other's realities threatened to crush their budding bond. The tension thickened as community whispers regarding their unlikely connection ignited discussions about workplace justice and dignity. Yet amid the uncertainty, Mia, propelled by fierce love for Jamal, stood with unwavering pride. "Your world isn't my world," she asserted, her voice steady but laced with vulnerability. "I'm protecting my family, but I'm not afraid to stand up for what's right." Ethan's heart raced as he wrestled with the moral weight of his privilege clashing against her steadfast spirit. The room buzzed with a sense of expectation, and with every lingering gaze from the diners around, the stakes grew higher. Could Ethan bridge the chasm that divided them? And would Mia allow herself to connect with someone who could so easily shatter her dreams? With laughter echoing and palpable tension thick as fog, both characters were drawn to a crossroads where choices would affect not just their paths, but the lives of those who looked on. What would happen next? As the divide between their worlds strained to the breaking point, Mia's heart raced. She could feel a warmth in her cheeks, a mix of frustration and fear swirling within her. The atmosphere had shifted. Just moments ago, Ethan's laughter felt like a small slice of joy, a fleeting escape from reality. Now, his presence ignited an inferno of scrutiny around them. "What did you mean by that?" Ethan asked, his tone softer, almost pleading, as he struggled to understand her fear. The diners had returned to their meals, their whispers morphing into a heavy backdrop of judgment. "I have to think about Jamal," Mia replied, her voice trembling slightly. She glanced at her brother, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing. "I can't risk him being hurt because of who you are or what you represent. You don't understand. You live in a world where money buys safety, and I'd give anything to shield him from that kind of hurt." Ethan swallowed hard, the weight of his privilege crashing down on him. "You might be right," he conceded, a sense of desperation creeping into his voice. But I want to understand your world. I want to help. Mia shook her head. No, Ethan. Help isn't always welcome. Sometimes it feels like they're handing you a lifeline while asking you to drown in their ocean. I am proud of where I come from and what I've created with Jamal. I don't need saving. He felt every word like a stone thrown into a pond, rippling through his heart. I don't want to save you, he insisted. I want to be with you. Just be. Around them the chatter had died down, but an unavoidable tension remained. Ethereal glances darted between tables, each passing whisper thickening the air. Mia knew she had to protect Jamal from this. She was about to defend her brother's world yet again when Jamal spoke up, his voice cutting through the heaviness. Are you guys talking about the pie? He asked innocently, grinning and gesturing with the remaining piece. It's really good. Wanna try some? Laughter bubbled up in Mia's chest despite the tension. And despite the complexities of their worlds, there was a beauty in that simplicity. Ethan smiled, his gaze softening as Jamal offered the slice like a peace offering. Okay, kiddo, I'll take a bite, Ethan said, leaning closer as if for a moment the conversations around faded into nothing. Just then, a heated discussion erupted from a nearby booth. Why is he even talking to them? One diner exclaimed louder than the rest. Doesn't he know he's too good for this place? Mia's heart sank once more, her resolve hardening. She wouldn't let Jamal hear the words of hate. Ethan, I think we should go. It isn't safe, she urged, quickly retreating toward the kitchen. But Ethan began, realizing the full weight of their confrontation. His heart battled between the burning need to make things right, and the knowledge that he would always have the world watching from the sidelines. Please, she insisted, her voice barely above a whisper, as she pulled the door to the kitchen open. For a heartbeat they stood, suspended in unbroken silence. Their eyes meeting, fear, hope, and an unspoken promise flickered between them. Then Jamal, still holding that pie, raised his voice. I'll share it with you both. We can all be happy. The innocence of his words struck a blow directly to both their hearts. It was a simple request wrapped in childlike wisdom, cutting through the tension like a knife through warm butter. Would Mia find strength in her brother's innocence to embrace the fragile connection growing between them? Or would Ethan's past and societal expectations tear them apart before their story could truly begin? The moment hung in the air, fragile and potent. What would they each choose in the face of their fears? Mia took a deep breath, grounding herself as she felt the weight of Jamal's words. In that moment, she could sense a flicker of hope and opportunity to bridge the chasm that had formed between her and Ethan, even if just for a heartbeat. Jamal, honey, she began, her voice softening as she knelt to his level. She looked into his wide eyes, filled with trust and innocence. We need to focus on getting home now, okay? We can enjoy the pie later. Ethan's smile faded slightly. The spark of joy had dimmed under the reality of the situation. Mia, please, he urged, his sincerity palpable. Just let me understand. I know things are difficult, but I want to learn. I want to support you and Jamal. Her heart ached as she looked at him. He seemed genuine, but there was a storm of fear swirling within her, and it shattered any remnants of her hope. You can't just jump into my life and fix everything, Ethan. It's not that simple. Jamal and I have built our world on our own terms. At that moment Jamal piped up, but Ethan just wants to be friends, right? Friends share things like pie. Ethan chuckled softly, his eyes lit with affection for Jamal. Exactly, buddy. Sharing is important. In the corner of the diner, another patron, a woman with a sharp gaze, continued to stare. Mia felt her stomach twist with dread. She turned to see what was happening. The background noise seemed to swell around them again, harsh and judgmental. Mia. What if? Ethan hesitated, searching her eyes for understanding. What if we embraced the idea of being a chosen family? I know this isn't what you want to hear, but I can't bear the thought of losing you. The sincerity in his voice tightened her chest. She wanted to believe in that connection, but it felt so fragile against the backdrop of the world they inhabited. You don't understand what you're asking, she whispered, fighting to hold back tears. You don't have to carry the weight I do. I can't let you compromise yourself for me, for us. Jamal, oblivious to the tension, took a step forward, pie in hand, a look of determination on his small face. You both can be happy. Just talk. Ethan knelt beside Jamal. Do you know what makes me happy? He asked the boy, his voice gentle. It's when I see people I care about feeling safe and loved. I want to do whatever it takes to help you feel that. Mia watched as Ethan regarded Jamal with a sincerity that struck her. It was pure and genuine. Her heart wanted to leap, but her mind raced with the consequences. A world that judged them, that whispered and conspired against love that dared to cross boundaries like his and hers, like theirs and everything they both feared. I can't afford to let hope blind me, Ethan, Mia finally confessed, her voice shaky. Hope is a dangerous thing in our world. And dreams can come crashing down. Silence filled the air, heavy and somber. Mia could hardly breathe. In that charged moment, Jamal reached out and grabbed their hands, his little fingers wrapping around their larger ones, uniting them in an unexpected gesture of unity and innocence. Please, he said, his eyes shining. Let us just be together. That's all that matters. Could they push through the weight of their fears? Could the three of them form something beautiful in a world filled with adversity? As Mia looked at her brother and then at Ethan, determination ignited within her. Maybe friendship is the first step, Mia said reluctantly, though her heart was still guarded. But it's going to take time, Ethan. Time and understanding. Are you ready for that? As Ethan nodded slowly, the murmur of the diner faded, leaving a singular focus on the three of them. Would embracing this tentative connection allow them to find safety in each other's worlds? Or would the pressures of society tear them apart before they had a chance to build something real? With that lingering uncertainty in the air, Mia felt a mix of hope and apprehension surge within her, wondering if this was merely the beginning of a complicated journey, or something much more profound. Mia stood at the edge of a precipice, an emotional cliff teetering between hope and fear. Ethan's gaze held her like a lifeline, yet the pain of her past loomed large, threatening to pull her back. She glanced down at Jamal, whose innocent enthusiasm seemed to cut through the tension like a hot knife through butter. Okay, let us talk, Mia finally said, her voice growing steadier. But no promises. We're still figuring things out. I want to pretend everything magically changes just because we're having a conversation. Fair enough, Ethan replied, his expression softening as he exchanged a glance with Jamal. The boy's face sparkled with hope, a candle in the dim room of uncertainty. Mia sought a safe space to navigate this delicate terrain. So what does being a chosen family mean to you? She asked, her heart racing. Ethan paused, as if weighing his response. It means supporting each other no matter what, even if it's hard. It means I want to learn the rhythm of your lives. Like when Jamal laughs at terrible jokes and when you need a moment to breathe. I want to be there for both of you always. The weight of Ethan's words pulled at something deep within Mia. Could she risk letting him see the cracks in her armor? Jamal chimed in again. Can you help me build my big Lego tower then? I need more hands. Laughter bubbled up in the diner, the sharp edges of their earlier conversation softening. Mia felt the tension loosening, if only a little. Yes, that's important work, she said, her lips curling into a smile. Ethan grinned. I promise I have a solid grasp on Lego architecture. They shared a moment, three people holding on to their pieces of the puzzle, each a different shape yet potentially fitting together in a way that could create a bigger picture. Mia felt that fire of hope flickering again. But the woman in the corner, the one who'd been watching, tossed her half-finished coffee cup into the trash with a loud clatter before leaving, her shoes clicking against the floor like an alarm bell. The moment had shifted. Reality crept back in. Her judgment hung in the air like a bad smell. Mia's heart sank. Does that lady get to decide how we live? Ethan frowned, visibly shaken. No, Mia, she doesn't. But it feels like people will always be watching, waiting to find a reason to judge us. As her heart raced at the thought of their impending struggles, a sobering truth settled within her. Building a path to connection wouldn't be easy. It wasn't just about creating a bond with each other. It was about facing the world outside. Jamal, she said, gently taking his hands in hers, to be family means facing challenges together. It means being strong against all the things that might try to stop us. Ethan nodded in agreement, his brow furrowed in thought. The gravity of their situation seemed heavier than before. Then let us build our family, Jamal declared, his small voice brightening the atmosphere again. With towers and pie and everything. Mia couldn't help but chuckle. Yes, kiddo. Towers and pie. But as she shared the laughter, a pang of anxiety hit her. How long could they hold on to this hope in the face of opposition? Would they really be able to create the sanctuary they desperately sought? Ethan and Jamal's laughter melded into a warm symphony, but shadows of reality still lingered, unseen threats waiting to shatter their fragile bubble. All right, we'll get that pie soon, Mia said, steeling herself. But first we need a plan. How do we face the world together? She met Ethan's gaze, ready for the answer. Would he rise to the challenge? Or would doubt pull them under before they even began to navigate their journey? As the bullet points of their complicated lives spun in her thoughts, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the greatest test was just around the corner. Mia took a deep breath, her thoughts swirling like autumn leaves in a gust of wind. She could feel a mixture of hope and fear grip her tightly. Ethan's expression was serious, but his eyes held a light that she wanted to chase after. I think we need to find our way one step at a time, he finally said, breaking the silence. What if we start with small goals? Things we can accomplish together? Like building the tower? Jamal interjected, his eyes wide with imagination. Exactly. Ethan smiled at him, his face brightening. And maybe later we can tackle bigger things, he added, turning back to Mia, his tone growing more earnest. Maybe we can organize community events, something positive that brings people together, so they see us for who we are, not what they expect. We can show them how strong we are as a family. Mia nodded slowly, the concept sounding more and more appealing. What kind of events? I mean, it sounds great, but we have to think about what resonates with everyone. Ethan leaned back, stroking his chin in thought. How about a block party? He suggested. Food, games, music, the whole deal. It's an easy way to connect with people. Like a celebration of family? Jamal asked, bouncing in his seat. Yes. And we'll invite everyone, not just the people who look like us or live like us. Ethan's voice had a spark now, bringing Mia along with him. And maybe we can partner with local businesses, Mia suggested. If they see us working together, they might want to join the effort. Ethan was fully engaged now. She could see it in the way his excitement radiated from him. Exactly. We can show them that a family isn't defined by blood, but by love and support, could make a difference. Mia felt a flicker of warmth growing in her chest. You really think it would change how people see us? I do. The more we show them who we really are, the more we can shape their perception, Ethan said firmly. A wave of determination washed over Mia. Perhaps standing firm as a family was the way to challenge judgment. She wanted to believe that it could make a difference. Jamal broke the moment. And I can have a giant cake. With Legos on top. His laughter filled the space and Mia couldn't help but join in. The weight of the world momentarily lifting. But as she laughed, her smile faded slightly. Could they really rally a community around them? What if others stood against them? The noise of the diner faded as Mia drifted into thought. She felt Ethan's presence and turned to him, searching his expression. What's the first step then? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I think we should start with reaching out to our neighbors, Ethan suggested, his eyes steady. Maybe go door to door, introduce ourselves. Make some connections first. Mia felt her pulse quicken. Speaking to strangers was daunting. But there was a flicker of bravery weaving through her anxious heart. Could this really be their starting point? As they planned the logistics, a familiar voice rang out behind them. Well, aren't you a cheerful bunch? It was the diner's waitress, a woman with sharp eyes and a knowing grin. Mia turned, surprised to see her walking over. We're working on a project, she said defensively. Looks like you're plotting something big, the waitress said, crossing her arms playfully. Mia exchanged glances with Ethan. Just trying to bring a little light into our neighborhood, he replied, his tone light but sincere. The waitress smiled. Good luck with that. You'll need it in a town like this. There it was again, the shadow of doubt creeping back in. But before Mia could respond, the waitress waved and walked away, leaving Mia staring at her retreating figure. Mia's heart raced. Do you think she believes in us? She wondered aloud, feeling the familiar weight of skepticism hanging over her. Ethan took a deep breath. We're not doing this for her. We're doing it for us. For Jamal. With that, something shifted within Mia. The path was getting clearer. But the road ahead was uncertain. They could either embrace the challenge ahead or let fear take over. We can do this, she said finally, her voice strong. But as she spoke, an unexpected doubt lingered in her heart. What if they weren't enough? And then the diner door swung open again, a gust of cold wind trailing behind. Mia turned, her hopes and fears blending together. Who would walk in next? And what would that mean for their fragile plans? The door swung open and a large man walked in, shaking off the cold as he settled into the diner's warm atmosphere. He was dressed smartly, a crisp blazer covering a simple shirt, yet there was a casual air about him. Mia couldn't help but notice he carried a coffee cup, steaming and fresh. He found a booth across from them and glanced their way, catching Ethan's eye for a brief moment. "Hey look!" Jamal exclaimed, pointing. "It's Mr. Randall. He owns the grocery store down the street." Hastily Mia turned her gaze back. She had seen the man before, an anchor of the community. He often greeted everyone with a smile, a rarity in this town. Maybe he would be interested in their project. Ethan must have noticed her expression, for he leaned closer, whispering, "Should we go talk to him?" Mia nodded, heart pounding. This was a big moment. They could start by sharing their dreams with him, seeking support before even approaching other neighbors. She took a deep breath. The weight of her insecurity felt lighter in that instant. They approached Mr. Randall, who was now surveying the menu with a thoughtful frown. "Good afternoon, Mr. Randall," Mia started, a hint of nervousness creeping into her voice. "We have an idea we'd like to share with you." He looked up from his menu, his brows raised with curiosity. "Oh, what's that?" Ethan jumped in, clearly excited. "We want to organize a block party, a celebration for the whole community, to bring everyone together." Mr. Randall's interest peaked, and a smile spread across his face. "A block party, huh? Sounds wonderful. You two are quite the organizers." Mia felt a warmth blooming as the conversation flowed. They talked about food vendors, games, and the importance of creating a space where everyone felt welcome. The more they discussed it, the more it seemed possible, the weight of doubt lightening with each passing moment. "What you're doing is tremendous," Mr. Randall said, nodding his approval. "People need to see other sides of our community, to know how united we can be." But then a shadow flickered across his face. "Though I have to be honest, not everyone will jump on board. You might face some pushback." Mia swallowed hard. His words hung in the air, just like the uncertainty that had previously engulfed her. "We understand, but we believe in what we're trying to build." "Maybe I can help," Mr. Randall offered, leaning forward. "I could donate supplies or even help promote it in the store." "Really?" Mia's heart soared. They weren't alone in this. "I'd love to see the community come together," he replied, his voice warm. "I'll talk to some other business owners too. Work towards getting their support." Mia exchanged a relieved glance with Ethan, his eyes wide in disbelief. They had taken that first step and it was already yielding results. Excitement bubbled within her, filling her with determination. As they walked back to their table, Jamal beamed up at them, his energy infectious. "Can we have games? Maybe a water balloon toss? Oh, and ice cream." Mia chuckled, the weight of the world feeling a little lighter. "Ice cream it is, buddy. But first we have to keep working." But beneath her enthusiasm lurked an undercurrent of anxiety. Could they really draw enough support? Would the community stand with them or against them when it mattered? And as they took their seats once more, the diner door opened one more time, and a chilling wind whipped through the space. In walked a group of familiar faces, the town's notorious troublemakers, all eyes on Mia and Ethan. Their laughter echoed with a hint of mockery. What would happen next? Would they be a source of encouragement, or would they snuff out the flame before it could spread? Mia felt the fire in her heart flicker uncertainly. The challenge was growing. The group strolled in like they owned the place, loud and boisterous, their laughter slicing through the diner's warm ambience. Mia's stomach knotted as she recognized their faces: Jack, Lily, and Peter, known for causing chaos wherever they went. They had a knack for turning whispered gossip into raucous laughs, and today seemed no different. "Look what we have here," Jack hollered, his smirk full of mischief, eyes glinting under the diner's fluorescent lights. "The wannabe party planners. You really think anyone wants to hang out with you guys?" Mia's heart raced. Did he have to be so harsh? Her cheeks burned, and she could sense Ethan tensing beside her. What had once felt like a hopeful spark was beginning to dim. "We're just trying to bring the community together." Ethan shot back, his voice steady but strained. "Together?" Lily echoed, lowering herself into a nearby booth with mock surprise. What? Like a family reunion? Be serious. Nobody matches your enthusiasm. This is a small town, and small towns have no time for block parties. Their laughter echoed in the diner again, and Mia's eyes darted to Jamal, who was blissfully unaware, excitedly brainstorming game ideas as he slurped his milkshake. Mr. Randall was watching from across the diner, his brow furrowed. She could tell he wanted to step in, but maybe he felt powerless in this moment. Mia squared her shoulders, stealing glances from Jack to his friends. They were the voice of fear and doubt, wrapped in a veneer of confidence. You don't know what the community wants unless you ask them, she replied, mustering every ounce of courage she had. If you're not part of bringing everyone together, don't put it down. Everyone deserves a chance to feel included. Wow, Peter blurted out sarcastically. A real speech. Did you practice that while you were hiding in that little booth? With every word, Mia felt the fire rekindle, even as it flickered against the wind of their contempt. She wanted to show them that people like her mattered too, that dreams didn't only belong to those who yelled the loudest. Are you scared? Jack leaned towards her, eyes narrowed, as if looking for the crack in her armor. Scared nobody will show? Scared of rejection? It was as if he plunged a dagger into her heart. But rejection was part of the process, wasn't it? She could almost hear Mr. Randall's encouraging voice in her mind. People need to see the different sides of our community. Mia took a deep breath, pushing through the rising tide of doubt. Maybe you're right that people might not jump on board at first. But forget our plans, let us focus on what's possible. Even if it's just one person who feels they belong. That's enough. The weight of silence fell, and suddenly the laughter seemed to fade. The trio exchanged glances, a flicker of uncertainty crossing their faces. Did she just plant a seed of doubt? Good luck with your little party, Jack finally scoffed, but there was no bite in his words. Mia watched as they turned away, ready to find comfort in their cool and casual disinterest. But inside, Mia felt a strange surge of clarity. They would face obstacles, but she was determined to rally support no matter the resistance. Let us brainstorm more ideas for games. Jamal burst out, still bubbling with excitement. As they returned to the booth, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that they had begun to tip the scale. They just had to keep pushing forward, no matter how hard the winds blew. Her mind raced to what they would do next. Who else could they involve? And that's when she caught sight of Mr. Randall, nodding along with a knowing smile. Maybe they could change the tide of negativity together. Perhaps the real challenge was gathering the strength to unite everyone for a brighter tomorrow. But just as hope surged through her, Mia saw someone new walk into the diner, a figure with an aura of raw confidence, someone she never expected to see in this small town. What could this stranger bring to the table, and would they help her cause or add more uncertainty? The doorbell chimed softly as the newcomer stepped into the diner. Mia's gaze shifted, drawn to the tall figure. An older man with salt and pepper hair, dressed in a crisp navy blazer that hugged his broad shoulders. He exuded a kind of commanding presence, and as the chatter in the diner quieted, it was hard not to notice him. Who is that? Jamal whispered, his animated demeanor suddenly subdued, mirroring Mia's surprise. No idea, she replied, keeping her eyes fixed on the stranger. He scanned the room, an observant gleam in his eyes. Then, unexpectedly, he made direct eye contact with Mia. A rush of warmth flooded through her, as if he could sense the struggle within her. He smiled, warm, genuine. It felt like a sunbeam poking through dark clouds. With confidence, the man approached their booth. Mind if I join you? He asked in a deep voice that was reassuring yet commanding at the same time. Sure, Mia managed to say, still a bit stunned. He settled into the booth across from them, his gaze shifting quickly between Mia, Ethan, and Jamal as if he was sizing them up. I heard you all talking about a block party? Yes, Jamal burst out. We just want to bring the community together. Make it fun for everyone. That's a great idea, the man replied, his eyes brightening. I'm David Carter. I recently moved back to town, and I'd love to help out. Mia felt a sudden flicker of excitement. This might be the breakthrough they needed. You really think so? A block party could be a big deal, but we're not sure if everyone will show up. David leaned in closer, his voice steady. You know, it only takes a few enthusiastic people to spark interest. I've seen community building events transform places before. The magic happens when you bring people together, even if it starts with just one. I'll help spread the word. But who are you? Ethan asked, his curiosity pushing through. With a soft chuckle, David shrugged. Just a guy who used to live here, happy to share his resources and talents. I've been involved in community events in other towns and they've always made a difference. Mia felt her heart race. What kind of resources? Well, for starters, I might know a band that could play, he said casually, a twinkle in his eyes. And I've got a few connections for food trucks. Plus funding should not be an issue. Jamal's eyes widened. Wow, that would be amazing. Mia couldn't believe it. Could this really be happening? Was David the angel they needed? A sense of possibility filled the air, lifting the weight of doubt that had settled over her earlier. Let us set up a meeting and brainstorm how we can make this happen, David suggested, and just like that, there was a flicker of hope igniting within Mia. Everything felt lighter, as if the weight of darkness that Jack, Lily, and Peter had cast over her dreams was finally being lifted. But just as she was almost ready to embrace this newfound momentum, the diner door swung open again. A familiar figure stepped in, one she hadn't seen in a long time. It was Sarah, her former best friend, the one who left town after their falling out. The atmosphere shifted instantly. A lump formed in Mia's throat, and all the lightness she had felt moments before began to slip away. What was Sarah doing here? Would this reunion trigger old memories? Or would it become the unexpected twist that could change everything? Mia's heart raced as Sarah stepped into the diner, a figure from her past that felt both familiar and foreign. The decades that had passed since their last conversation echoed in the space between them. A mix of dread and nostalgia churned within her. Sarah looked different but also the same. Her hair was longer, framing her face softly, and her bright smile overshadowed the anxiety Mia could sense beneath. The moment their eyes locked, a tension filled the air, pulling her emotions taut. Mia? Sarah's voice was hesitant, as if testing the waters of an old wound. Sarah, Mia managed, the name tasting both sweet and bitter on her tongue. The diner was a cocoon of whispers and glances as other patrons began to notice the reunion. Jamal's excitement faded, replaced by an awkward silence. Ethan shifted uncomfortably, sensing the heaviness. Are you back for good? Mia found herself asking, though a part of her wished she hadn't. Their falling out had been rocky. It was like a crack in the foundation of their friendship, never truly mended. I didn't intend to come back, Sarah said, glancing around the diner. I had to sort some things out. Felt right to stop here. There was sadness in her eyes, and for a fleeting moment, Mia remembered the bond they once shared. What things? Mia pressed, her heart leaning toward understanding, yet still guarded. Sarah hesitated. Life happened. I lost touch. I just wanted to see what I missed. Mia opened her mouth to respond, but no words came. Could Sarah truly expect to pick up where they left off? The emotional distance felt insurmountable. I'm trying to plan a block party, Mia finally said, steeling herself. I think it could really bring the community together. The excitement she had felt moments before began to wane again, edged out by unresolved issues. Do you need help? Sarah offered, her expression shifting from uncertainty to determination. I might have some ideas. David, who had been watching with quiet interest, interjected, that sounds wonderful. It's like fate brought all of us together. His smile was warm, bouncing some energy back into the group. Mia glanced at him, feeling an unexpected swell of gratitude. Maybe David was right. Community building could heal more than just neighborhood rifts. The idea of working with Sarah rekindled a flicker of hope, yet the old insecurities lurked behind her smile. Why don't we sit down and brainstorm together? David suggested, trying to break the intensity in the air. I believe everyone has something valuable to contribute. His voice was steady and calm. Sarah nodded, a look of renewed purpose forming. Unless you don't want my help? The uncertainty in her tone was clear. Mia's breath caught. Did she want to let Sarah in again? Or was this just going to open old wounds? She had spent so long building walls, but there was something in Sarah's eyes and earnestness she hadn't seen in years. I guess it could be worth a shot, Mia finally said, her heart thudding. The words came out like a cautious gamble. Let us see what ideas we can come up with. A tentative truce was forming beneath the diner lights, and Mia couldn't help but feel a flicker of excitement. Maybe this was how healing began. Maybe community wasn't just about parties, it was about rebuilding connections too. But as they began to talk, plotting ideas and dreaming about a future gathering, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was just the calm before a storm. Would they be able to truly rebuild their friendship? Or was this simply the surface of unresolved issues bubbling beneath? The door swung open yet again. The next figure to step inside made Mia's stomach drop. Jack, her old high school crush, with a sheepish grin plastered on his face, holding a stack of flyers, the familiar face bringing back a flood of memories, good and bad. What would Jack's presence mean for Mia, Sarah, and the block party? The emotional upheaval felt like it was only just beginning. Mia's heart sank even lower as Jack's grin spread, bright and mocking. He strutted into the diner like he owned the place, that same swagger that used to make Mia's cheeks flush in high school now sending a cold shiver down her spine. This was the last thing she wanted. Her excitement about the block party wavered, and she felt the weight of old insecurities rise. "Hey, didn't he expect to see you here?" Jack called out, his eyes darting from Mia to Sarah, then to Ethan. "This looks cozy." There was a sharp edge to his voice, and Mia knew everyone else in the diner could feel it too. The buzz of conversation dwindled as eyes focused on the unfolding drama. "What do you want, Jack?" Mia demanded, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "We're trying to do something positive here." "Positive, huh?" He chuckled, leaning against the countertop folding his arms. "What, you think this little party will change anything? You think people will really care?" The diner fell into an uncomfortable silence. Mia's stomach knotted tighter. "Maybe they will," Ethan interjected, stepping protectively closer to Mia. "It's about creating a space where everyone feels included. That's what matters." Jack's smirk widened. "Included, right? Don't kid yourself." "You're wasting your time," he replied, turning back to the group. "You think everyone will rally around this? Please." Mia clenched her jaw. A rush of memories flooded her, times when she felt like an outsider because of him. The way he had made her doubt her worth. She wanted to shout back, but instead she took a deep breath. "That's not true," she said, her voice firm. "It's about showing our community that we can come together, no matter our differences." Jack rolled his eyes, but his bravado faltered slightly. Mia sensed that beneath his facade was a flicker of uncertainty. Maybe she could use it to carve a path forward. "Why don't you help us then?" Mia challenged, her heart racing as she took a step forward. "Instead of tearing it down, why not be part of building it up? It might surprise you." For a heartbeat there was silence. Jack's expression flickered, a fleeting moment of doubt passing across his face. "Why would I do that?" he scoffed, trying to regain momentum. "Because it's good for you too," Sarah chimed in, her voice surprisingly steady. "You might not realize it, but being part of something positive could change how people see you, how you see yourself." Jack stiffened, the impact of her words hitting harder than expected. Mia couldn't believe the shift. "We're not perfect and we want to please everyone. But real change begins with a willingness to try," she continued, emboldened. "You know how it feels to be on the outside looking in. Let us change that together." The air was thick with tension as Jack seemed to wrestle with himself. For the first time the mask began to slip, revealing a hint of vulnerability beneath his bravado. "Fine. I'll think about it," he finally said, arms sliding down to his sides. There was an underlying sincerity that surprised them all before he turned and walked out, leaving the door swinging behind him. A wave of relief washed over Mia, the room's energy shifting dramatically. David glanced at her, a proud smile tugging at his lips. "See? You're already making an impact," he said, his voice a warm embrace. Jamal bounced in his seat. "Does that mean we're friends now?" "Maybe," Mia laughed, joy bubbling up, pulling the group closer together. "Then let us plan the party," Ethan urged, gathering momentum once more. The spark had come back, igniting possibilities as each member of the table leaned in, filled with hope. Discussion flourished around food, decorations, fun activities. They brainstormed with a vibrant energy, laughter punctuating the air like chalk on a blackboard, creating a multicolored masterpiece of potential. Mia felt something inside her shift, each idea coalescing, each voice becoming a chorus instead of divergent notes. A sense of unity wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. Just as they were about to finalize their plans, Another figure entered the diner. The tension didn't just creep in. It slammed like a door caught in a sudden gust of wind. A familiar face stood framed in the doorway. It was Tara, the high school queen bee, her air of confidence unapologetically matched by her brassy wit. "Running a block party, are we?" she called out, swinging her long hair over her shoulder. The sharpness of her voice cut through Mia's excitement. "Yes, we are." Mia stood, feeling the rush of adrenaline surge, excitement mingling with caution. "Good luck." Tara's smirk contradicted her words, the chill in her tone unmistakable. "But let us be realistic, everyone knows that this place isn't exactly interested in inclusivity. You might want to check your expectations." She sauntered to a table beside them, her presence blanketing the diner in a familiar fear. Mia swallowed hard. All the encouraging energy began to feel strained. "People will care," Jamal exclaimed, his voice bright and unwavering despite the heaviness in the air. "They're going to come, and we're going to have fun." The sincerity in Jamal's voice resonated, and Mia felt the fire of resilience flicker back to life. "Yes, they will," Mia affirmed, her stance firm. "This is just the beginning. Together we can change perceptions. Every voice matters." David nodded. "Let us not let negativity shake our resolve. It's time for a celebration that brings everyone into the fold." The surrounding diners paused, eyes flitting between the groups at the booth, conversations softening to whispers. Mia felt it, this wave of hope rising against all odds, against the shadows that threatened to drown them. With Ethan, Jamal, Sarah, and even David beside her, they were creating a bond worth fighting for. As the murmurs of doubt continued to swirl, she raised her chin defiantly. "Mark my words, we'll make this happen," Mia declared, her heart swelling with newfound strength. "We're building something beautiful here. And I believe in it. I believe in us." An electric energy rippled through the diner, igniting a collective heartbeat. No matter what came next, whether it be judgment, failure, or triumph, they would face it together. United, they could stand against the critics. "Everyone is invited to the block party," Mia said, making eye contact with each member of her newfound family, their intensive strength fueling her resolve. "Everyone, including skeptics and those who doubt." And just like that, a sense of power washed over her. This moment marked not just the plan for a block party, but the beginning of a revolution grounded in love, connection, and the undeniable strength of community. Mia smiled, a layer of worry washing away. They were ready. With determination and a heart filled with hope, they began to dream bigger. As the atmosphere in the diner shifted from doubt to unity, Mia understood this was just the first step in their transformative journey, a journey that would transcend three individuals, creating a family sparked by a shared vision, brightening a community with light they would generate together. And that light? It would shine brightly, even against the shadows, spilling out of the diner and into the lives of others. Now they were unstoppable, and the world was about to notice. You need to subscribe now for these exclusive stories, because the triumphs are just beginning. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the magic alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Join the journey.